कुंज विहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी
गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन
यमुना तीरावनचारी
यमुना तीरा वनचारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
जय जय गुरुदेव श्रीपाद गुरुदेव श्रीपाद
जय जय गुरुदेव श्रीपाद गुरुदेव श्रीपाद
जय गुरु महाराज शिला श्रीपाद की जय जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते
ओम नमो
वासुदेवाय
भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो
नारायणं
भगवते
नमस्कृत्य
वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्
नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text number 55. Atatan slangshnyaya vacha
अततान् श्लक्ष्णया वाच
pratyahuya mahabudhaha
प्रत्याहूया महाबुधः
uvacha vidvamstan nishtam
उवाच विद्वांस्तन्निष्ठाम्
krupaya prahasan iva.
कृपया प्रहसन्निव.
Translation: Prahlad Maharaj, who was truly the supreme learned person, then addressed his class friends in very sweet language. Smiling, he began to teach them about the uselessness of the materialistic way of life. Being very kind to them, he instructed them as follows. Please repeat. Prahlad Maharaj,
प्रहलाद महाराज,
who was truly the supreme learned person,
who was truly the supreme learned person,
then addressed
then addressed
his class friends
his class friends
in very sweet language.
in very sweet language.
Smiling,
Smiling,
he began to teach them
he began to teach them
about the uselessness
about the uselessness
of the materialistic way of life.
of the materialistic way of life.
Being very kind to them,
Being very kind to them,
he instructed them as follows.
he instructed them as follows.
Purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. Prahlad Maharaj's smiling is very significant. The other students were very much advanced in enjoying materialistic life through religion, economic development, and sense gratification. But Prahlad Maharaj laughed at them, knowing that this was not actual happiness. For real happiness is advancement in Krishna consciousness. The duty of those who follow in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj is to teach the entire world how to be Krishna conscious and thus be really happy. Materialistic persons take to so-called religion to get some blessings so that they can improve their economic position and enjoy the material world through sense gratification. But devotees like Prahlad Maharaj laugh at how foolish they are to be busy in a temporary life. Please mute your mic, somebody mic is on. Prahlad Maharaj laugh at how foolish they are to be busy in a temporary life without knowledge of the soul's transmigration from one body to another. Materialistic persons are engaged in striving for temporary benefits, whereas persons advanced in spiritual knowledge, such as Prahlad Maharaj, are not interested in materialistic way of life. Instead, they want to be elevated to an eternal life of knowledge and bliss. Therefore, as Krishna is always compassionate to the fallen souls, his servants, the devotees of the Lord Krishna, are also interested in educating the entire populace in Krishna consciousness. The mistake of materialistic life is understood by devotees, and therefore they smile upon that. Therefore, they smile upon it, considering it insignificant. Out of compassion, however, such devotees preach the gospel of Bhagavad Gita all over the world. So only one sloka, Prabhuji, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. So can you please remove the sloka? Yeah. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gnananjana-salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Swarupa Damodara Swami Niti Namine. Namah Sadbhakta Manaye Manipurdhavaya Cha Prabhupada Sadvani Prachar Niratayate. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pachyatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Guru Maharaj Srila Shripad ki Jai Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai समस्त व्यवस्थित भक्त वैष्णव वृंद की जय हो अततान श्लक्ष्णया वाचा प्रत्याहूय महाबुद्धः उवाच विद्वंस्तन्निष्ठां कृपया प्रहसन् इव Prahlad Maharaj, who was truly the supreme learned person, then addressed his class friends in very sweet language. Smiling, he began to teach them about the uselessness of the materialistic way of life. Being very kind to them, he instructed them as follows. So here, three important things are there. One is sweet language, smiling, and then materialistic way of life. And then fourth, kindness, instructing out of kindness. So sweet language is, as a boy, naturally boys of very tender age, they have very sweet language. And their minds and hearts are very tender. So as the schoolmates of Prahlad Maharaj. So therefore, children of that age must be taught with sweet language and out of love and affection. So therefore, when it is when we spoke sweetly and when we teach them with love and affection, the children, they enjoy and they like and they learn it. But if it is harshness or always chastising them, and if you do in this way, then children of tender age, they slowly become very hard in accepting. But in general, truth should be spoken sweetly. So that is scriptural, without offending. But truth is bound to offend, and sweet also is going to appear bitter when the content is not sweet for a person. The language also appears bitter. But however, we should try our best to maintain sweetness and attitude of helping. But it's still possible the person who is who want certain thing, certain way, you will not be happy with anything other than that. But still, if we become very harsh, then the fire will be adding heat to the fire. So we should always maintain sweet language, smiling. So it is very important, especially in the educated environment where our Bhaktivedanta Institute is organized by Srila Shripad and Srila Prabhupada. The smiling is very, very important. Speaking sweetly is also very important, because educated people, learned people, they get offended very easily if we don't speak in a sweet way. So there are different classes of people, like, so in certain areas of seva, like construction, sometimes we feel why they are so harsh in speaking. But that is how they listen to, that's how they pay attention. But in the scholarly circles, should be always sweet language, because they are very, very learned and very sharp in thinking and analyzing our what we speak, how we speak. And one word is sufficient for a scholar to live or educated person to live. So it is not only about the scientists, but also those students who are coming up. So this is very important, to speak in a very sweet language, especially in our Bhaktivedanta Institute. And Srila Shripad, our Gurudev, is the most sweet person. So sweetness is in everything, in speaking, the way we look at, the way we welcome, the way we receive, the way we host. So Srila Shripad is very great example. So if you want to do some seva for Srila Shripad, we should also learn that kind of reception and interaction. That's why Srila Prabhupada is very confident in Guru Maharaj, that he is very soft and sweet. In order to be soft and sweet, we should be in the mode of goodness, at least. Because when we are in passion, we cannot behave in that way. Because these scholars, they are most the learning department, the teaching department, in which mostly the scientists are situated, is in the mode of goodness. That aspect. They may do other activities which are not in the mode of goodness. But the process of learning, teaching, those activities themselves, they come under mode of goodness. So Bhaktivedanta Institute is also learning and teaching, mainly to the scientific, scholarly, educated people. So therefore, we should not act in passion. We should not act in passion towards the scholars and also towards each other. If we act in passion, then scholars immediately will leave. So our mission, our original mission, our real mission will suffer. And other activities are to support to this mission, this main thing. So therefore, if we don't behave properly, what will remain is the secondary things. A real thing will be lost. So therefore, we should behave in a very sweet way, in the way Guru Maharaj used to deal with the scholars. And this is our seva, one of the greatest seva, to smile even among the greatest difficult times. So when there is difficult time, please try to smile. Then we'll understand how difficult, what great seva we have to do. Or somebody criticizing, that time, try to smile. So we understand how difficult it is, because scholars means they always have their own theories. So they propose different theories. So we should not be also get agitated with their theories. Because people are, though they may influence, but it is not so easy that people get influenced. People get more influenced by our behavior. If somebody is not right theory or right philosophy, but behaves well, but if we have the highest philosophy and don't behave well in the public, then general public think, oh, these are more spiritual, better we go there. So by not being gentle, by not being dignified, we are not giving a good impression to the public. We have to be graceful in every occasion. That is the greatest challenge in Bhaktivedanta Institute, even for the impersonalists. Generally, devotees, as soon as they see impersonalist, they become very agitated in ISKCON, right? That is our training in our ISKCON. As soon as, of course, there is Srila Prabhupada's special mission obtained from Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur was very, very sharp. Srila Prabhupada was a little bit mild, but always he writes in his writings and explains to his students. And when it comes to Srila Shripad, it is more mild and he is more kind. Srila Shripad is even kind to the philosophies who are completely opposite to Bhakti. Srila Shripad used to say, we can work if somebody is a well-behaved, gentle person, good-hearted person. There are also impersonalists among whom they are very good-hearted, but somehow they got tricked into the impersonal philosophy or they got into impersonal philosophy. So if they get sweet language like Srila Shripad and a smiling face like Srila Shripad, then even they will get attracted. This is what I want. We have seen also among the scientists those who are impersonal in their attitude. Couple of scientists, for example, Amit Goswami. If you read his books, completely impersonal oneness. But he loves Guru Maharaj so much. You see, when our devotees invited him for the life and works of Dr. T.D. Singh, he's so happy to come home. Dr. T.D. Singh is my friend. He is given only 5 minutes to speak. No scholar will come to speak for 5 minutes. But he agreed to come to speak for 5 minutes. So they're so much attached. And that attachment, by that attachment and appreciation, they do some seva, Vaishnava seva to the Guru Maharaj. Because Guru Maharaj, whenever Guru Maharaj asks, they come. So therefore, they take part in the service of Guru and Gauranga. So this is the way we should go forward. Na Bhaktivedanta janayet ajnanam karma sangina. So we should not get into arguments or we not become rivals, philosophical rivals. That is not the way to go forward. Is to have sweet language, smiling face, being good friend. So then they want to be friends. Because scientists, it is natural for the scientists to have difference of opinion. At the same time, smile at each other and work together. And also respect each other. If we lack that kind of atmosphere, then we don't fit in the scientific atmosphere. So if somebody disagrees with our philosophy, we immediately become inimical. If we become like that, then we don't fit in the scientific setup. Then BI lose its relevance. BI has no... our mission is lost because your audience have no respect for you. So what do? Again, we do the same thing as our organization is doing, ISKCON. But that BI is not for that. ISKCON is supposed to support the setup. So we may do some activities of ISKCON, but that is not our main thing, just to support. So we cannot randomly pick attitude of Srila Prabhupada or Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur towards impersonalists. We have to pick the attitude of Srila Shripad. Because we are in BI, we have to do this seva. So sometimes even if they don't change completely, if they have appreciation for a Vaishnava, he is a nice person. That will attract the mercy of Krishna. And even they can get purified in due course. That's how. So we should not, na Bhaktivedanta janayet. We should not pick up rivalry or fight with philosophically different. We have to be patient. We have to wait for our turn. When our turn comes, we present our views. So if anything you want to establish the Manobishtam of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, put energy in our presentation. You make such a wonderful presentation that audience, it is very clear. Not pick a fight with the other person who has a different philosophy. The seminar means there will be different philosophies. Conference means there will be different philosophies. That we should know. So this for those who are coming new, just to have some understanding. So in this way, we should be always sweet. Everybody would like to want to come to the BA conference. Not that they invited me and after I went there, I was insulted. So this should not be the case. If one person comes one time to BA conference or BA event, you should fall in love with the BA activities. And though I don't agree with their philosophy, I want to go. They are doing nice work. They are nice people. They are gentle people. They are loving people. So this we have to cultivate, to speak sweet language. Then we will be able to do some seva to Guru Maharaj and we will be some asset. Otherwise, we will be a liability. Right? Because Guru puts gallons and gallons of blood. If we don't behave properly, we will be liability. Instead of contributing, so much energy is going because of our behavior. So it is very important to improve our behavior. So that we have to improve on a daily basis with our where we stay, whom with we stay. Always speak in a nice way, in a humble way, requesting way. Though the other person is wrong. So that is when our true sincerity in using sweet language comes. When the other person is wrong also, it should be sweet. Not only when we are right. Not only when other person is right. But when the other person is wrong also, we have to be sweet. Then we can be some instrument of Srila Sripad. Otherwise, we will be liability instead of becoming asset. Right? Sometimes Guru Maharaj used to say, for one person, so much of my energy is going to one person. So it should not be like that. So much energy should not go because of our. So we should be always gracious, always sweet, and have a humble approach. The sweet language, smiling. The smiling, we have talked about smiling in an appreciative and loving way. Another way of smiling is smiling at the material assets or material happiness. Smile on that. So Prahlad Maharaj did not embrace the material happiness, material way of life, but smile. What is there in that? So this is very important. Smiling, he began to teach them about the uselessness of materialistic way of life. So we should know what is materialistic way of life. So materialistic way means that which is temporary. Asatoma satkamaya. That which is temporary is material. Though we may give spiritual flavor to that. Whatever that is temporary, whatever that is not going to come with us when we leave this body, that is all material. So it has a lot of implications. Whatever that doesn't come with me when I leave this body, we can make a list. What doesn't come with me when I leave this body? Body doesn't come, senses don't come. When we go to Krishna, mind also won't be there. Our false identity will not be there. Identity with family, country, place, buildings. Nothing will be there. So we should be able to distinguish this. What is material, what is spiritual? Even in the spiritual atmosphere. Right? Srila Prabhupada said Bombay can be a headquarters. Bombay can be headquarters. So many people are fighting for Bombay building, doing politics, and Guru Maharaj just smile. You don't know what is headquarters. It is not the building. The building is not the headquarters, but people are fighting for the building. Sripa just smile, right? Because of BA, so ISKCON has got benefited so much. So many educated people came. So they all wanted this building or the BA. And So therefore, buildings are not spiritual. Buildings are material. When they are used for right purpose, with right attitude, then that will become spiritual. Otherwise, even the so-called assets and devotion, they're also material because they don't come with us. What comes with us is our attitude. When we leave this body, what goes with us is the attitude. That is our real treasure. So we should cultivate right attitude. So many times we use the word mission, mission, mission. Mission is not the buildings, not the properties. Mission is our attitude. And the attitude we cultivate in the devotees, in us, in ourselves, and the devotees around us. So we should smile like Srila Sripa smiled on the buildings, on the projects, on the positions, on the money. But embrace brotherhood, embrace the pleasure of Srila Sripad. Buildings and projects are important, but more important is what Srila Sripad wants in this situation. Should we protect the property or should we protect the devotee? There come a time sometimes we have to choose between property, project, or the devotee. The devotee is more important than the property or the project. For that matter, human life is more important than the property. Many times people lose their life because of properties. But of course, sometimes when it is required, devotees also give their life for mission, and it is very crucial. But one has to be very careful. What is more important? What is more important to Gurudev? Gurudev's asset is his dear devotees. Properties are to engage the devotees. Mission is to engage us so that we can be liberated. Not that we fight among each other and then lose sight of the real importance of these things. So therefore, we should smile. If somebody wants us to remove from our position, smile. Somebody wants to put us down, we can smile. Somebody wants to take away some of my money, you can smile. Somebody wants to take away my property, my project, you can smile. If you are able to smile, then Gurudev will take pride. He is my disciple. So that is what will go with us. When Gurudev says he is my disciple, he is my boy, that is our success in life. Everything else is very material. So this we should be very, very. So therefore, not the property, not the position. You have to see what Gurudev will be happy in this situation. So from material to spiritual means from moving from myself to Guru. Most of the time you fight, oh, this happened to me, that has happened to me, I was not given this, I was not given. This is material. Our fight should be for Gurudev, what Gurudev wants. For Gurudev, I am ready to do sacrifice anything for Gurudev. Right? This is the attitude we should cultivate. So that is what will go with us and that is what will take us to Sri Guru. And Sri Guru is with Krishna. That is how we go to Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. So this is the materialistic way of life. Materialistic way of life is not just the materialistic people we think we talk about outside. It is also what we are hankering here. This is also very material. This also we should be, our goal is to become Paramahamsas, right? So we should be able to distinguish matter and spirit. in material atmosphere, also in the spiritual atmosphere. So then Gurudev will smile upon us, Krishna will smile upon us. So then pick him up. Otherwise, keep fighting, the Krishna will give that what we are fighting. Oh, be happy with this. This is what you wanted. Be happy with this. So these are useless things. So Gurudev just gave up the buildings and came to Kolkata in an apartment. And whatever he did, just did from an apartment. So it is very, very amazing what Srila Sripad did. From an apartment, what could not be done from a big building was done from a small apartment, small place. So that's what attitude can do. Not the buildings, not the properties. And we should become such an assistant, a reliable assistant. Achha, can you give me this? Okay. Such an assistant to Gurudev, not that Gurudev is spending so much energy on the assistant. Like you have a car, 10 hours a day is going in fixing it. So what will happen? That car will be discarded by Gurudev. So it is too much troublesome. More time is going in the repair. So we should be in good condition. So that Gurudev can use us in his service. So our attitude is very, very important. And that is our real wealth, which will go with us. That attitude is the Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is nothing else. Not what we chant, not what we put marks on our body, not what we study, not what we speak, not what we do. All this can be deceiving. All these are not our health. Our real wealth is our attitude. That we have to see where I stand. So we have to progress from for me to Gurudev. What Gurudev wants. If Gurudev wants, I would like to be on top. If Gurudev wants, I would like to be at the bottom. So in this way, if we cultivate our mind and attitude, then Gurudev can use us the way he wants. So that is the materialistic way of life. Other materialistic way of life, you all know. So nothing much to talk about those things. Being very kind to them, he instructed them as follows. So when we instruct somebody, kindness should be there. So when somebody is instructing us, we should also provide atmosphere not to agitate the person who is trying to help us and make it unpleasant atmosphere. If somebody is trying to help us, we should appreciate and accept that kindness. Because that person could very well just leave it. So being kind is very important, compassionate. If there is no kindness, preaching won't work. We will only bring them to the spiritual surroundings, but not to the spiritual attitude, because it won't enter. So we have to also take care of that. So Prahlad Maharaj is the greatest learned person, smiling, sweet language, and smiling upon the uselessness of materialistic way of life, and being compassionate. This is what is Srila Sripad also. So, you may be also knowing Professor Srivastava. He also loves Guru Maharaj so much. And whenever Savignam is published, Guru Maharaj would ask him, I want an article. And he would write article for Guru Maharaj. And it is very, very tough to write an article that Guru Maharaj wants. What Guru Maharaj wants, using mathematics, prove life comes to life. It's a too tough job. Very, very tough job. And though he is different philosophy of Guru Maharaj, right? Though he improved in later time, and you see, he is carrying Krishna picture wherever he goes. You see, is very, very. I have not seen any bold professor like Professor Srivastava who carried Krishna picture everywhere. He carried Krishna picture everywhere, put it on the table, taking prasadam. Before taking prasadam, feed also Krishna in the mind, and then he eats. So you see what kind of people are there. Though they may have some conception because of previous associations, people will change. Similarly, Professor P.V. Sharma also. So much transformation in the association of Guru Maharaj. So therefore, we should become that kind of by the blessings of Gurudev. So for this, we have to tolerate a lot. So many injustice, so much insults, so much deprivation, so many things we have to tolerate. If we tolerate all these things, then we become like Srila Sripad. Otherwise, we remain very, very ordinary. And being very, very ordinary, we can hardly be of any seva to Srila Sripad. Rather, we will be taking so much energy from Sri Guru and Srila Sripad. So I will stop here. If any questions, kindly come forward.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for this nice and wonderful class. Yeah, we have a question by our Jai Jagannath Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Narasana. Maharaj, every time, every time telling in a very good way or sweet. In some situations, we use some intelligence and we may not tell in a very good or sweet way. Because, for example, maybe in schools or colleges, the lecturers and teachers always may not tell in a kind language. They use some aggression to gain the knowledge. So, can you please?
Yeah, teachers, those who speak sweetly, affectionately, they are more effective. Right? Teaching others, especially the children. Children cannot be spoken harshly. At the same time, it is not that they don't chastise them. We can become occasionally, not every time. Right? You can show the cane, but not beat them. You should show anger sometimes. So if you use the cane will lose its power. You should only show the cane, not use the cane. So sometimes it is required, even with our friends also, in our circle also. Generally, I try to be also sweet, but at least I will try 3 times being very sweet way. After that, I will show a little bit harshness or little bit anger or little bit give warning or things like that. So sometimes that is also need to be used, because some people, they don't take advantage of kindness. They misuse they misuse the kindness of the other person also. They are also possible. So, but with the children, once in 10 times, you can say. With the grown-ups, 3 times at least. Should try. Also, only those whom we are supposed to correct. Either a father or a husband or a teacher or a managerial authority or guru. So we should not also unnecessarily correct everybody. We are not supposed to, right? We should not take somebody else's duty. We can pray, or we can, out of kindness, we can bring to their notice. That's all we can do. So we should not take the position of others. That will help, Prabhuji. Jai Jagannath.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes.
Covered what you wanted. Okay, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, if anyone is having any question regarding today's class, they can raise the hand and ask His Holiness Bhaktiswarup Respect Maharaj. Radha Damodar Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj ji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Yes, Maharaj ji, like sometimes we could not able to do what spiritual master says. Sometimes situation forces, like even in devotion circle, we could not able to do. We were with some, like what we have to do in that times. But it is very difficult to go. But
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you reveal your mind to your spiritual master, and spiritual master understands, and you try to be sincere from your side. You see, something which is beyond our hands, what can we do? If you don't have time, what can you do? Right? As a student, you have so much responsibilities you have to take care also. So it is important to reveal one's mind to the spiritual master and accept his guidelines. So we will not be able to do everything that spiritual master says also. Right? If they do everything, then we will not have any seva or our next generation, right? Srila Prabhupada left scientific thing to Srila Sripad. And Srila Sripad also, he showed us how to do it, but he did not do everything. He started things, some things he did everything. Some things he started and showed this is how we should continue. So we may not be able to do 100% whatever spiritual says, but we can give our 100%. So as long as we give our 100%, there is no problem. Even that we can open our mind to spiritual master and be honest. Can say this is what this much time only I have because of college, studies, job, whatever it is. Then Sri Guru will give seva according. Sri Guru doesn't want to. Sri Guru only wants you to be busy, either with studies or with your job or with seva to Krishna. That's all. Because ultimately what we bring in terms of people, in terms of buildings, in terms of money, again I told you these are all material. What Guru wants is you, not what you bring. That you have to understand. That you write somewhere. In order to reclaim us, Sri Guru is asking to engage in certain things that will bring something, some resources to the moment. But the real resource is we. Sri Guru wants you, not what you bring in. So Sri Guru doesn't want you to get lost. So for that he is giving seva, so that we have sufficient seva. Right? That is the Sri Guru's this thing. So reveal your mind to the spiritual master. If you are able to do, reveal it. If you are unable to do, also reveal it. Because he is our greatest well-wisher. And he has taken responsibility to deliver us. So therefore we should open our mind to the spiritual master. Then everything will be solved. If you don't open your mind, then all problems will come. Then you ask 108 people, also your problem will not be solved. Okay?
yes, Maharaj ji. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Any more questions, Prabhuji?
Yes, Maharaj, we have 2 more hands raised. Let's go with Maharaj, please. Hare Krishna, Govind Maharaj.
Yes, sir. Can you have our Jivamukta, because that's a rare hand raised.
No, I will make sure it will be addressed.
I think I am privileged to have question from Jimukta Prabhu.
Okay, Maharaj, you want just Jimukta Prabhuji, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Danvat Pranam.
Dandat Pranam, Jimukta. Om Jimuktaya
Maharaj,
Namaha. Yes, Prabhu.
thank you for excellent class. I was asking, whenever our seminar conference happens,
Hmm.
this is my personal question.
Hmm.
In 2-3 days before of the seminar or conference, I got more tension and I cannot keep my smiling things.
Hmm.
Once inauguration things happens, anything happens, then I keep my smiling. So keep on. So how to keep smiling like you, Maharaj?
Leave it. For me, like Sripal. Better. Right. So we try, but if we are doing hard work, even if sometimes we lose cool, others understand. Only if you become lazy and try to become, sometimes lose temper, then it is people don't take it. But if you are fully working hard and sometimes you lose some temper, people also understand that there's some, because of some pressure he lost some this thing. But we should try to avoid that, because ultimately uh, the conference is to engage all of us, not to lose us. Seminar is to bring together everybody. That is the purpose. And so you can think about Guru Maharaj, and you think about Guru Maharaj's relationship with that person, not only your relationship. Right? So, and your duty is to keep everybody. If you are in some position is a great responsibility is to bring together everybody. So, by meditating on Guru Maharaj, you can become peaceful. Immediately, remember Guru Maharaj, immediately 50% will be down. Practically, you can experience. Right? When you become upset, when you are becoming out of control, before we lose outside, we take certain stand inside. Before taking that stand, think about Guru Maharaj once. So then what comes out will be very, very watered down. If not 100%, completely watered down version. So that is how we become Krishna conscious. We become Krishna conscious is by thinking about Sri Guru before we think, when we think, before we think, when we think, before we talk, when we talk, before we act, while we act. That is the whole Krishna consciousness, whole attitude that will go with us. So when we develop that attitude, then we become eligible to become in the company of Paramahamsas. We may not become Paramahamsas, but at least when a Paramahamsa becomes our what you call oil, they say sometimes is oil, because oil burns and engine runs, right? So when Sri Guru, thoughts of Sri Guru becomes the oil of our engine, who is a Paramahamsa, then Krishna will give us space among Paramahamsas in the Golok Vrindavan. So if it is only about me, myself, and become lost, cool on others, that we should improve and bring in Guru Maharaj in the mind. That help, Prabhuji, or anything missing? Don't forget for whom you are doing it. Hare Krishna. Jimukta Prabhuji can unmute and say something.
Thanks, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Hare Dandavat.
Hare Krishna. Let's go in Maharaj, please.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you. Unmuting me twice. It's simply beautiful. I just want to.
Thank you, Maharaj, for your blessings.
No, we are feeling all blessed. So thank you for.
Yes, Maharaj.
Maharaj, we are not able to hear you. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Maharaj, you may come out if you are inside a little bit, or come close to window, or let me put on my video. It may help. Maharaj, we are unable to hear you.
Maharaj is joining back, I guess.
Okay, okay.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. I do have a question.
Please, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So in this verse, it is said like the other students were very much advanced in enjoying materialistic life through something like we do spiritual things, and sometimes we don't feel that enjoyment. So how to get enjoyment in doing all the spiritual activities?
Because we are doing it for ourselves. That's why we don't feel enjoy. We are doing it for our pleasure. When you do it for your pleasure, you don't be happy. When you do it for the pleasure of Guru, you will be happy. And do it for the pleasure of Krishna, then you will be happy. This is the science of happiness. When you work for your happiness, you won't be happy. When you work for the happiness of Guru and Krishna, at least for others, and that's how people, those who do social service, they remain happy, work for help others. But that is material because it won't last long. And on the spiritual platform, we should work not for ourselves, because we have certain parameters. If I get this in this place, in this post, in this seva, in this hours, in this way, I will do seva. This is my comfort now. So all things may not be fulfilled. Some may be fulfilled, some may not be fulfilled. And our mind always goes to that which is not fulfilled. So you will not be happy. But if you make happiness of Sri Guru, then you will be happy. And that is the only way to become happy. So bring in Sri Guru into your thoughts, into your fire, in the consciousness or the spirit which with you work is pleasing Guru. Because pleasing Guru, we generally, only when we speak to Guru, we think about it. After we get the instruction, then we forget. Seva is given so that we can remember all the time, Guru and Krishna. Not only when we talk to them. Seva is to remember them even after we leave them physically. Physically in the sense not leaving the body, but when we are in a physically distant place, physically distance. Seva keeps us keep thinking about Guru and Krishna. In order to think about them, we should work for their satisfaction. Otherwise, we only think about my satisfaction, what I want. This is to be, I need to get, this is to, I need to get. then those things only will come into our mind and that will make us unhappy. So we try to experience this higher happiness. We are still stuck in the lower happiness, material happiness in spiritual atmosphere. So we have to elevate our mind. We have to elevate our identity. We have to elevate our consciousness. So then we will be on the transcendental platform. Otherwise, doing spiritual seva, but on the material platform, you won't be happy. Spiritual service should be done on the transcendental platform. So by getting the instruction of the spiritual master and acting for his satisfaction, we will be remain on transcendental platform. Otherwise, we are executing the instruction of Guru, but not able to fully utilize the opportunity of instructions and seva that is given to act from a transcendental platform. That means we should remove my factor. The beneficiary, me as a beneficiary, that factor should be removed. What benefit I am getting, I am supposed to get. What respect I am getting, what respect I am supposed to get. What position I am getting, what position I am supposed to get. These things we should not. We should keep them under priority, under the priority of Sri Guru. So when we transcend them, then we get transcend the modes. That is the meaning of transcending the modes. Is to keep aside my pleasure and put Guru and Krishna's pleasure. That becomes my real pleasure. That is transcendental platform. So in order to bring to that platform, all our devotional regulative principles are there, devotional engagements are there, right? So that we have to cultivate. If you are unhappy, you should think that I am not doing it with the right consciousness. Generally, we think because of this person, because of this reason, that reason, that reason. But the real reason is my attitude. All right. So my attitude is in my hands. Nobody can take it away. If I have right hand, I will be happy everywhere. Nobody can take it away. So to be happy is in our hands by changing our attitude. Right attitude. If the attitude is not corrected, then many years passing, but still no progress in our happiness. So we should be happy in Krishna consciousness, in Guru's consciousness, in Guru's seva. Keeping their pleasure above my pleasure. At least this much we should be. If we consciously try to make this choice, in due course of time, we will no more remember our my priority, what I want. So then we become one with Guru and Krishna. That is the ekatva. That is how Guru and pure devotee and Krishna and pure devotee are in one, because pure devotee is thinking only about Krishna and Krishna is thinking only about the pure devotees. Right? This is a oneness in Vaishnavism. Krishna says, my devotee do not know anybody other than me, and I do not know anybody other than my devotee. So this is the kind of relationship we can have with the Guru. If you change your attitude, the way you work, the consciousness with you work, Guru will say, I don't know anybody other than Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami will say, I don't know anybody other than my Guru. Don't know means they know, but that is what is the driving force in the consciousness and we work. So that is how Krishna works. Out of unlimited love for his devotee. And that's how the devotee works, out of unlimited love for Guru and Krishna. And that is a oneness. That is a oneness in the spiritual world. So the same oneness, if we cultivate here, then we are liberated. That is our process, to cultivate this oneness with Sri Guru. I have no other motivations. I have no other aspirations. I have no other ambitions. other than what Guru wants from me, his seva. So if this is cultivated, organization can go very nicely. Otherwise, organization will be like, it won't be a spiritual organization. Same material propensities are there, so this organization won't run. This we should cultivate. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you. Yeah, Govind Maharaj is back. Let us hear from Maharaj. Before that, we have a comment in chat box by Jimukta Prabhu. He is saying when Professor P.V. Sharma and Ekam Mukhopadhyay visited our Kolkata office during QPC time, they were
He can
remembering.
speak.
Yeah,
He can speak. Can
would be
hear.
better. Yes, Jimukta Prabhu, please.
Maharaj, so when our maybe Sarmaji and Mukhopadhyay visited past time BI office during KPC time,
Ah.
then they did not visit that time. When they visited our apartment and throw like Manas weapon on that, and when they went Guruma's room, then both they were telling Dr. Tiris has done good work from small apartment.
Yeah.
And Mr. Sarmaji was telling, no, actually for doing work, no need such a big building. This thing. So they are appreciating these things.
Yeah, sometimes we dream, no, we want 10 acres, we want 5 acres, we want sometimes. To do seva, small place is enough with big, good attitude. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, Guru was amazing what he did.
Yes, Govind Maharaj, please.
And on the same token, we left our professors from California wondering how amazing or how wonderful must be the setup of BI. So,
What is his name? He came to QPC also, no? Same professor.
I stayed in his house for 2 days.
Mm.
And we were discussing maybe. But what I'm very inspired today, Maharaj, because we are the family, an extended family of Srila. And your spontaneous talks and expressions, they are very much giving almost direct perception of what Guru Maharaj is like. And it's very rare thing. Ultimately, my question, it would be a question that as everybody, as a human being, tries to improve, spiritually or materially, whatever. And but on the spiritual platform, we know that one has to come out of being self-centered. So spirituality means we are Krishnas, we are someone's. We want to become someone's, and you put the concept of becoming gurus to be called guru's boy or the disciple of Sri Guru. It's the ultimate perfection or the fulfillment of our engagement. But in that process, what happens when we are multiple beings in the service and trying to improve, the ambition which you put we want to become Paramhansa or whatever. That's very wonderful. But the disease remains that I assume that I have become. Just because I got the ambition that I have to become Paramhansa, pure devotee, or very advanced. How to get oneself rid of this forgetfulness that I have not become yet. This is the foundational question. And second thing, as we improve our consumption in unconditional devotional service to Sri Guru, this tendency of duplicity, duplicity means something I still not revealing, because in the name of improving, even when we appreciate other devotees on many counts, still the tendency is means to what level that appreciation is. Is it to just benefit ourselves? So if I imbibe certain things, I can also become or similar to him. Then I can improve further even. I can even become better. How to free oneself from this tendency that, oh, I know that somebody is better than me, but I cannot praise him publicly so much or openly, or within my consciousness that he's so much more blessed. How to break the joy of appreciating others is much more blessed, so much blessed that if I get a little blessing from them. So how to bring one to the point of really seeking the blessing of those rather than just, oh, we know he's more blessed, but I can also try how to become free from that tendency of envy and duplicity, because that will be the real need to really become from Paramahansa. Please help us out. At least
Hare Krishna. So there are second question first, because that is fresh in hearing. That one thing which we already talked in regard to Jimukta Prabhuji's, by keeping Gurudev in the heart, we can develop that brotherhood. If we are unable to appreciate, we should know that we are stuck here. I am stuck here. That is, if we are unable to, just like if we are unable to follow some regulative principle, we know that this is where I am stuck, I have to improve. Similarly, if I am unable to appreciate somebody's really achievement, that is an indication that I am stuck here. This is where my further progress is stopped. So I should come out of this. So this is one thing. Another thing, in general, appreciation brings a lot of happiness. If you appreciate, we will see that a lot of happiness is there. So, and when we go to important position, there is some aspect we act as a disciple of Shripad, and there are also aspects we have to act on behalf of Guru Maharaj. Right? For example, when a scientist is coming, I can act in a way nice to them, appreciate them. But I can also act on behalf of Guru Maharaj to them. So we can represent Guru Maharaj also sometimes. Then we have to act like Guru Maharaj. So if you are in good position, then you have to become generous like Guru Maharaj and act on behalf of Guru Maharaj, not only as a God brother, but because there is some hierarchy, then there is some aspect we have to act on behalf of Guru Maharaj. Then I have to think what Guru Maharaj would say rather than what I would say. So only answer is to keep Gurudev in our consciousness. Either we act as a disciple or we act on his behalf sometimes. So I cannot fight like a God brother. I have to also think like Guru Maharaj also. What Guru Maharaj would do to this person. Then we will act in a different way also. So some portion we act by keeping in Guru Maharaj, what he will be pleased with me. How if I act, he will be pleased. That is one way to think. But there is another way, another level. Let me act on behalf of Guru Maharaj. So these are different levels. And being Paramahamsa, we can never be Paramahamsa. But we can never give up trying to become a Paramahamsa. means in the sense, distinguish matter from spirit and temporary from the eternal. Paramahamsa is able to distinguish between the temporary and the eternal, permanent. Sometimes we mix both and get entangled in the temporary. Unable to, we get lost, get entangled in the temporary. So, but Paramahamsa is able to distinguish what is permanent, what is temporary. And this being, trying to be Paramahamsa never stops, because Krishna, he takes Paramahamsas further. So the Paramahamsa, there is no, for Paramahamsa there is beginning, there is no end. So we have made our journey begin, but we should not be immature in our journey. We should try to be mature in distinguishing the temporary and eternal. That's what our scriptures ask us. Asatoma sadgamaya. From the temporary, rise to eternity. So this eternity is about what we think, what we do, what we speak, how we relate, whom we relate. We can apply the same principle. Who are my people? Write down, who are my people? If you write down who are my people, then we'll know how much percentage is my eternity, how much percentage I am temporary. Similarly, what I trying to accumulate to, how much is permanent, how much is eternal, how much is temporary. Then we get a percentage. You can work upon that. So enviousness is actually, if you really analyze, it is actually suffering. Isn't it? Enviousness is suffering, isn't it? Why would want to suffer? Happiness is there in loving. We can, this enviousness comes because we think we are different. That person who is doing is different from me. That's why there is enviousness also. But that person is also mine, my man, my person, my brother. Right? Like mother, when the child gets IAS, become IAS officer, she becomes more happy than the child, because she thinks the child is mine. She did not achieve. She cannot achieve. She will not achieve. She will not try to achieve. But because of oneness, because his child is mine, he is mine. So we have to cultivate that. He is mine. So his achievements are mine, not only his. Why I think his achievements are his? This is my achievement also. Because he is my brother. So this is because our identity is engrossed in our bodily relationships. Our identity has not evolved into spiritual relationship. Who am I? I am still son of such and such. I am father of such and such, brother of such and such. And 90% of my activities is surrounding that. But when that gradates into I am servant of Shripad, I am son, spiritual son of Shripad, and these are my spiritual brothers. If my 90% of my work is surrounding them, then just like when my brother gets IAS job, IAS become a collector, I become very happy. It is because he is mine. This achievement is mine. That is a oneness. That is comes from our spiritual identity. Identifying with Sri Guru. If our identification is not the Sri Guru, then this, in spite of his speaking many things, the difference remains. He is different, I am different. He achieving something bigger than me. So it is lost. So if I have this brotherhood, if somebody achieves, this is my achievement also. This is mine. For him, he owns only the achievement. I own him also, and also his achievement. That is a spiritual relationship or spiritual identity we have to develop. That won't come unless we transcend temporary relationship and asatoma sadgamaya, transcend ourselves. It has to be done in mind, body, and words. Body, where we stay, with whom we stay, words, what we speak, deeds, what we do. So it is the consciousness is changed by our what we speak, what we do, what we think. So when we have that that he is my brother, so therefore it is my achievement. Why it is not my achievement? Why my brother's achievement is not my achievement? Because I don't think he is my brother. So officially he is my brother, spiritual God brother, but internally no brotherhood. So I am lost. I have to improve on that. He is my brother and his achievement is mine. Like a guru takes pride in the achievement of the disciple. So if I am in the consciousness of Guru, then I take pride in my brother's achievement because he is mine. His achievements are also mine. So this Vasudhaiva Kutumbam, or we go much bigger than Vasudhaiva Kutumbam to Vasudeva Kutumbam. We are in Sripad Kutumbam. At least we should be at the level of Sripad Kutumbam. If we don't promote to ourselves at least that level, then I think we should not dream of being a devotee or going back to Godhead. So many different dreams we have. If we at least don't promote ourselves to this level, Sripada Kutumbakam, Gurudev's Kutumbakam, at least that level we should come. Then I celebrate my brother because his achievement is my achievement. But sometimes I may become angry or correct him or not agree him. They are secondary things. I do those things because he's my brother. I want him to achieve more, be useful to others more. Not that keep his achievements to himself. Don't become selfish. Share with others. So, but doesn't mean that there is enviousness. But I celebrate my brother's achievement because he is my brother. I belong to him. He belongs to me. Because both of us belong to Sripad. So this is the togetherness family. If we develop that consciousness, then we will be in Sripad's family next life. Otherwise, we won't be in Sripad's family next life. So that very act of not being able to appreciate is a feedback for us. That, oh, here I've stuck here. Because spirituality, others can only help to a certain extent. A lot we have to help ourselves because a lot of spiritual things are internal. The real fight is inside. But we forget inside and fight outside. So this is our big problem. Our real fight is inside. When these feelings are coming, that is where our fight should be. That is where all our missiles should be directed, not on others. Our missiles, that is misguided missile. When I see some propensity like this, that is where my missile should be guided. I then forcibly act opposite way. Do something for him so that he can achieve better. Then I experience some happiness, some higher thing. Then next time I will do the better. So our real fight is inside, which we should not give up. That missile should not be directed to outside. So then there is a disturbance in the organization. The missile should be directed inside. Why I cannot treat him as my brother? That means I don't belong to spiritual family. I'm not accepting. Who is stopping me to accept? Nobody is stopping. I only myself stopping. So if we think in that way, then it's easy to give up. Otherwise, without fixing our ego, false ego in the real ego. False ego is based on the bodily connections, our bodily existence here. But spiritual ego is, I am servant of Guru. I am spiritual son of my Guru. These are my brothers. That we have to cultivate. Without cultivating that, it is not possible. Though we may try, because there is no happiness by being generous and not being envious. And envious is very, very suffering. Not actually. Just like smoking is suffering, But some people who are lost in their mind, they think smoking is enjoyment. So similarly, this enviousness is suffering. But we think is a happiness. So this is avidya. The real avidya is this. Maharaj, sorry, too much. Please.
Maharaj, the example you use that the mother doesn't think that she can become IAS officer, that's excellent. That's the best analogy I could imagine, you know. So same thing, how it can be transpired in relation with the spiritual family. As previously you also said that when it comes to our bodily brother sister, we show affinity and concern more than we show for our own spiritual brothers, and the disease remains. So in that regard, my little understanding that this separated interest, is the cause of envy. But within the spiritual oneness, should we not also appreciate weakness is appreciate not be someone like, but be with someone who is so uniquely appreciated. Appreciation should not be blocked because appreciation could be raised.
You're not hearing, Maharaj.
Platform. So yes, he is so blessed to become that wonderful, but it's still. Am I audible?
We could not hear properly, Maharaj. You can repeat again. Now we are hearing.
Okay. So I'm saying that this principle of envy because of the separate interest. Although oneness we are emphasizing in words and idealism, but because of the separate interest, how to become free from the separate interest? One way we can think is that everyone is unique. Even within oneness, everybody is unique. That way, we don't have to become like someone or be better than someone. Like the mother example you gave.
Unmute, Maharaj.
The mother doesn't think that now she has to become IAS officer. So in that unique, the oneness can be, appreciation can be raised to the absolute platform, where one can maintain one's uniqueness and appreciating the God brother for whatever his glory. And that way the duplicity will left out, because duplicity comes only when there is a separate interest. And separate interest causes the envy, because we want to establish like someone or be someone. But in oneness, we can sustain our uniqueness and at the same time completely free ourselves from duplicity. There is no separate interest, and when there is no separate interest, there is no space for envy left. Then one attains the absolute atmosphere in that. So that is the question. The example you gave about the mother not thinking of becoming like IAS officer like that. She knows that she's unique in her role, and she can appreciate someone's glory on the absolute platform, rather than trying to become, or oh, I can also become like him if I get this position, or if I get this much money or this much facility, I can be like him and maybe I can become better than him. We don't have to become better or like someone. We want to become the purest devotee. And that must be the agenda. How to sustain that fervor, that we don't want to become like someone or better than someone, but we want to become pure devotee. Because the duplicity plagues most of us, and separate interest. How to reveal oneself, how to allow oneself to become fully consumed in the service of others. Others means the extension of Guru Maharaj, as you said. How duplicity, more than envy. Envy is the effect of duplicity or the ultimate outcome. But in interim is the separate interest. How to dissolve that separate interest. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. we have not addressed your first question. We forgot completely what is the first question. I think there are two hands up. Sanatan Prabhu, who are they?
Govind Maharaj and I think Srikant Prabhu.
Yeah, let us hear from Srikant Prabhuji. He is
Yes, sir.
good,
That's
very
wonderful.
good perspective Prabhuji adds. Let us hear.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I had a question only. I had a question. First of all, the class was so good. It was really very, very much heartening to hear Maharajji's words. The question says, today I find a difference in mood of your holiness. Initially, your holiness class was filled with statements like that Guru Maharajji never discards or correction is there. But however, there were somewhere many places in today's class statements like will be discarded and the car will be discarded and in the next life you won't be. So
Yes.
if I will request your holiness to kindly connect the dots so that we can be at relief and at the same time we should also be attentive and not lose the focus.
Yeah, you take note of many disciples of Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj has given up on them. Not because you want to give up them, because they have no interest. Right? Just because I have taken, just by taking initiation, one doesn't become a disciple. By coming under the discipline of Guru, one becomes a disciple. So therefore, on one side, Guru Maharaj will never leave us. That will help us to progress. On the other hand, we should also have some fear factor that if I become nonsense, Guru Maharaj may discard me. Right?
Right.
Don't you know even one disciple of Guru Maharaj whom Guru Maharaj discarded? Huh? So that fear is also to help us, right? Until we become pure devotees, we should have bhakti also, little bhaya also, right? Like Rukmini Mataji, she fainted when she had a doubt Krishna may leave her. Will Krishna ever leave Rukmini? Can Krishna ever leave Rukmini?
No.
But when she saw there is some sign, she immediately fainted. That means she values Krishna's relationship so much. So similarly, do we value Guru Maharaj's relationship? If we value, we will also have some fear. Right? And that fear can help us when we go crazy. Sometimes when we go crazy, we do time to time go crazy also. So if we value Guru Maharaj's relationship, that will help us. Otherwise, Guru will never leave disciple. But are we disciple? So sometimes I don't reveal some things because it may disappoint. But Guru Maharaj also said, who are my disciples? I can hardly count on my finger. What do you say about this?
It means, it means whosoever have not been counted on fingers, they must be very cautious. At the same time, technically, it does not mean that Guru Maharaj has discarded those who have not been counted.
He has not discarded. We discard ourselves. His discarding is not his really discarding. We discard ourselves. Right? If we don't become an instrument, right? Nimitta matram bhava savyasachi. If we don't become nimitta matra, then what will happen? Like you have a knife, right? You want to cut vegetables. You are cutting on the vegetable, but it is coming onto the finger. Right? The knife is supposed to be an instrument in your hands. But you are trying to do something useful, but it is coming and cutting in your finger. Right? If you have become such kind of instrument, Instead of helping Sri Guru to do something useful, I become always come and cut his finger or cut his hand, become trouble all the time. So he has to handle another knife. It doesn't mean that you're completely discarded. You are there in the corner of the desk, but what is the use? There is no use. So we have to become like that. So that kind of discarding. We want Sri Guru to use us. We want to become an instrument. He can mold as he likes. Use me whatever way you like. Right? Then such instrument will be used all the time, right? Nowadays, mobile has become our instrument, right? In our hands all the time, because it can do everything. It can take photos, it can make calls, it can surf internet. What it cannot do? It is so flexible. It has become an instrument in our hands. Suppose it says, no, today I will not allow you to browse or check emails. What will you do? Maybe use it as a paperweight. So have you discarded or not discarded? Have you discarded or not discarded the phone?
You're not using the full potential, or because the mobile itself is not willing to be used as full potential.
It lost its constitutional position as a phone and it became a paperweight. So if we don't become an instrument like that, we lose our constitutional position of a disciple and remain an ordinary person. And Vaishnava is compassionate to everybody, he doesn't discard anybody. So in that sense, but this we should not take for granted. That yes, Sri Guru will not discard me from his side, but I may put myself in a situation where I abandon Sri Guru. That is also living also. So it is good to keep some fear. The fear comes from the value we give to relationship. And that fear is there in all the devotees are also. Like Rukmini, she is afraid Krishna may leave her. Are we bigger devotees than Rukmini? We are not. So how can we think that Sri Guru may not discard me? Because if I am not fit, so at least minimum we should maintain minimum decency, and we should not completely be lost. Whenever we come back again, Sri Guru will accept, no problem. So what I said is not an absolute thing, but we should not rule out such possibility of he did not discard, but there is no interaction, the relationship, right? No active seva, not doing anything, nor remembering him anything positively. So we may not do anything, but at least we should not become a disturbance. No? So also things we can do mind also, no problem. Guru knows the mind. If you are unable to do physically, you can think about him and you respond. There are so many people who are unable to do physically anything, but Sri Guru has so much love for them because of their attitude. So if you are physically fit and not doing, then that is the attitude problem. Right? So, so attitude is very important because that is going to decide our destiny. Our attitude is going to decide our destiny. Yeah. So Sri Guru doesn't leave us, but there is a danger we may leave Sri Guru. Can we put this way to conclude, Prabhuji?
Definitely. We may be depriving ourselves of the wonderful services to.
Yeah, I correct my statement that Sri Guru may discard, that we may discard Sri Guru. Or Sri Guru may think we have discarded him. That is also discard, right? If Sri Guru thinks my disciple has discarded me, right? That is the kind of discarding. So a relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple, that is a paramount in Bhagavad culture. We cannot compromise or we cannot take for granted. or make it secondary in our life. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, Maharaj. Thank
Maybe
you.
we have one more hand raised. So shall we go for it or Rachit Kesu Prabhu? Okay. Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavad.
Dandavad Pranam, Prabhuji.
Maharaj, actually now you were telling about that with proper attitude, if we don't have proper attitude, then it is a problem. And so, means according to my experience, what I feel that if our consciousness when the person is not in pure state, so he thinks it is maybe with I don't know, but at least in contaminated state that he thinks whatever he's thinking and behaving and willing is correct, and that has to be in this way. Otherwise, it is not proper. So even if the person is reminded, those who are above this state, they don't understand. So, and this may create also and also another thing is that in spiritual life, the impression is in the mind is that if we just follow four regulative principles and chanting, and then things will be moved forward. So those things are not taken care, which are more, internal development. Because so how these things because unless the person comes in this consciousness that what I'm doing is not correct, I have to improve. How a person will improve? And spiritual master is not physically present. At least with the spiritual master, okay, he thinks he is my guru, he is my master, so we have to listen to him. We are bound, we are obliged. In his absence, this problem is very random. Yes. So, also what I feel, if you a short comment, if you allow me. Maybe, apart from question, otherwise you can answer.
Yeah, let me answer the question briefly.
Yes.
That that's why when spiritual master is physically there, we should make maximum use. We should come close, subject ourselves to his discipline. And even if physical master is physically not there, if you pray to him, he can guide and he can put us in right association. Right? Through association also we can improve ourselves. Right association. Person with good attitude and good consciousness. If you pray to Gurudev, he can bless us with good association of his servants. So Sri Guru physically not there, but he is there to guide us. So there are two types of guidance. Every time we need answer, we pray and Gurudev reply every time. For that, we should be also qualified with our surrender, with our humility. Also, another way Gurudev can help is, okay, you stay in this association of these devotees. So in that association also we can improve ourselves. So Sri Guru, for a disciple, Sri Guru is never lost. He is there. But his access, how much you can access him, depends on our surrender. Even when physical master is physically present, do we really have direct access all the time, whenever we want, however we want? We don't have, depending on how much we surrender to spiritual master. Accordingly, we will have access. So that access we can get even now also. If we surrender now, like some of the things which we discussed in this class. If your desire is to fulfill his desire, then you can have very good connection with spiritual master. Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale, right? So if my abhishta is to establish the abhishta of Sri Guru, and if I am ready to tolerate and sacrifice anything for that purpose, including my abhishta, then we can have good connection with Sri Guru even now. Same thing when he is physically present, because in one interaction we can know where we stand. It doesn't need much. The way we approach for seva, the way we ask, the way we present, the way we propose, Sri Guru knows where we are. Up to certain level, Sri Guru has to say, okay, you continue. If we progress certain level, he will say, okay, now I can correct. At least he is in a position to listen to me. Then he will correct. So even in the physical presence of Sri Guru, depending on our attitude and surrender, our access is different. So therefore, Sri Guru's opportunity for Sri Guru to correct is also different. But the same thing is available now also, because Sri Guru has accepted as a disciple. He always keeps an eye on his disciples. If a disciple is thinking about him, trying to please him, to act on his for his pleasure, Sri Guru will respond. Why he will not respond? So that for that we have to come out of our selfish consciousness to the pleasure of Sri Guru. That means we may have to make a lot of sacrifices. We may have to make a lot of we have to tolerate so many things. We may have to tolerate so many insults. We may have to tolerate so many unfavorable physical conditions. So, am I ready for that? Otherwise, Sri Guru mercy is there, and he is physically present. Sri Guru mercy is there even now. It is up to us to take it. He can take even now also. But do we want to tolerate? Do you want to act on his behalf? Do you want to act for his pleasure? Do you want to sacrifice? Do you want to tolerate? Can you tolerate? So these are the questions which we need to ask. So then the answers will come. Thanks, Prabhuji. I think already 9:20. I beg pardon, and if any mistakes are there, and whatever I spoke, it is not that I am on the platform. I am very, very fallen. But I always pray to Guru Maharaj for guidance and make me his proud disciple. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaji, thank you for this long interactive session and interesting answers. Yes, Maharaji, we can conclude for the day.
Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
So we will be in Navadvip for January 1st. Any devotees wants to come and join, they are welcome to join. Few students are coming from Kolkata and we are going there. If anybody wants to join us, you are welcome. 31st night to 2nd afternoon. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. His Holiness Bhakti VPS Maharaj ki jai. Thank you all for joining. See you all in tomorrow's class. Hare Krishna.